Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're breaking down the single biggest challenge holding back truly powerful AI, its memory. We're going to look at how engineers are building AIs that can remember, quite literally, everything. So, just imagine for a second. What if an AI could understand your entire medical history to give you a diagnosis, or absorb a company's entire code base to find one single bug in seconds? This is the incredible promise of what's called infinite context, and believe me, it is the holy grail of AI right now. Okay, let's dive right in. First, we're going to lay out the problem, this thing called the memory wall. Then we'll explore the absolutely brilliant solutions being built to tear it down, looking at everything from clever algorithms to sophisticated software, all the way down to the physical hardware itself.
So why is remembering so incredibly hard for an AI? Well, it all comes down to a really critical component, something called the KV cache.
The easiest way to think about the KV cache is as the AI's short-term memory, its little scratch pad. See, every time an AI generates a new word, instead of rereading the entire conversation from the very beginning, it just checks this scratch pad. It's what makes conversations even possible. But here's the huge catch. The longer the conversation goes on, the bigger and bigger and bigger this scratch pad gets.
And this is where you really see the sheer scale of the problem. A single, really long prompt from just one user, we're talking a million tokens here, creates a KV cache, a memory file, of over 200 gigabytes. Now get this, the world's most powerful AI chip, the NVIDIA H100, only has 80 gigabytes of memory on board. You physically cannot fit the thought onto the brain. That right there, that is the memory wall.
You know, this problem really breaks down into two distinct parts. First up, you have the prefill phase. That's when the AI reads your initial prompt. It's pure, intense calculation. But then comes the decode phase, and this is the real killer. For every single new word it generates, it has to go back and pull that entire massive KV cache from memory, look at it, and then generate the next word. It's like having to read an entire encyclopedia just to write one sentence. The thinking part is easy. It's the constant rereading that grinds everything to a halt. That's the bottleneck. So how in the world do you solve this? I mean, if one GPU can't hold all that memory, the first logical step, right, is to get a whole team of GPUs to cooperate. And you do that with some very clever new algorithms.
The big breakthrough here is an algorithm called ring attention. And honestly, it's a bit like passing notes in a circle in a classroom. No single GPU has to hold the entire book. Instead, the book is broken up into sections, and each GPU processes its little piece before passing it along to its neighbor. It's this continuous stream and compute cycle that just goes around and around, and it lets them process a context that is far, far larger than any one of them could ever handle alone.
But you know, ring attention is just one idea. There's a whole family of these things. You've got token ring, which is like passing notes in two directions at once, and then deep speed Ulysses, which is more like everyone just shouting their part of the story out at the same time. The really fascinating part is that there's no single best answer. The right algorithm has to be a perfect match for the physical layout of the hardware it's running on.
Okay, so that's the algorithm layer. Let's move on up the stack. Now that you have all these GPUs working together, they need a manager. They need a system that can act as a librarian for all this distributed data.
And this quote right here, it absolutely nails the crucial mental shift that has to happen. That KV cache can't just be a temporary scratch pad for one conversation anymore. To solve this, you have to start treating it like a permanent shared library, a resource that the entire data setter can check out and contribute to.
And systems like the open source project LLM Cache are built to be this librarian. It creates a central, unified library for all the AI's memories. It's smart enough to identify when, say, two different users are asking about the same document, and it just reuses that memory instead of creating two copies. It even intelligently moves the most popular memories to faster storage, just like a real librarian would keep the popular books right up at the front desk.
And in the enterprise world, you have systems like NVIDIA's Dynamo that take this idea even further. It uses a smart router that's like an incredibly efficient mail sorter. It knows exactly which GPU, anywhere in the whole data center, already has the memory a new request needs, and it sends that request directly there. This maximizes what they call a cache hit, and that, of course, speeds everything up dramatically.
All right, so we've got the clever algorithms and the smart software. The final piece of the puzzle is rebuilding the hardware itself, creating entirely new ways to physically connect all this memory to the processors that need it.
And the key technology making this possible is called CXL, or Compute Express Link. Honestly, the best way to think about CXL is like being able to plug an external hard drive directly into your brain. It allows a GPU to reach out and access a massive shared pool of remote memory and treat it as if it were right there on the chip. It completely shatters its old physical limits.
But hey, even with a superhighway like CXL, you're still moving tons of data around, and that can create traffic jams. This has led to a truly revolutionary idea called near data processing. For 50 years, computing has followed one basic rule. You move the data to the processor. NDP flips that script completely and asks, wait a minute, why don't we move the processor to the data?
Think about it like this. Instead of shipping an entire warehouse full of products to an inspector, you just send the inspector to the warehouse. So the GPU sends a tiny little query, the inspector, over the CXL link. Then these lightweight little processors that are literally living on the memory modules do all the heavy lifting right there. And they only send the small final report back. The amount of traffic on the network is reduced by an absolutely insane amount.
So let's put all these pieces together. When you combine these incredible innovations in algorithms, software, and hardware, what does the future of AI infrastructure actually look like?
Well, what you get is a completely new, fully integrated stack. At the top, you've got algorithms like ring attention, intelligently distributing all the work. In the middle, you have middleware like LMSH playing librarian, and managing all that data is one giant, coherent library. And at the very bottom, you have hardware like CXL and NDP providing a vast, efficient, and expandable foundation for it all. And that right there, that's the crucial takeaway. The frontier of AI is no longer just a quest for raw computational power. The new grand challenge, it's a game of logistics. It's about the logistics of managing an intelligent, distributed memory system that spans an entire data center. Which leaves us with one final, fascinating thought. Once we actually solve the technical problem of giving an AI a perfect, infinite memory, we're immediately going to face a new and maybe much more philosophical one. What, if anything, should we allow it to forget? Thanks for watching.